When I was in grad school, I was sitting in the lab one day and a Latina research assistant walked in and saw me at the computer and said, "Anna, what is white people culture?" And my knee jerk response was I looked at her and said, "White people don't have culture." And she laughed and she was like, "True." But then I paused and I said, "Well, I think we do have culture. I think I'm just so used to seeing it reinforced everywhere that I am that I don't think of it as culture. I just think of it as the way things are." And she was like, "Ooh, now that's some real talk." And this was before I started getting to unwritten rules, but I was still doing research on social class as a stigmatized identity at work. But I kept pulling on this thread. And so the first paper of my dissertation was what are the unwritten rules of work for people from low income backgrounds and how do those differ or overlap between black and white women and men? And the second paper was on are there any cultural norms in organizations that uphold white supremacy culture? So I've been doing a deep dive in this for a few years and always learning more, always having to hold myself accountable. And in this video, I'm going to show just a few distinctions I see between white culture and white supremacy culture. Now, disclaimer, there are many shades of pale and intersections. I've talked about working class white versus middle class white a lot on here. As with any identities, there's always intersections of, women, men, queer, if you're disabled, etc. But all races have those. This is also partially intended to be humorous and educational, so I'll have a light tone, but I realize these aren't like heavy topics. I don't think they are to be dismissed. I just believe in having a little fun when you can. Also, anything can be harmful when done to excess, and I would love to see examples of that in the comments if you have any insight into that. Okay, so first, what's a white people thing? Efficiency. We love it. We love it. Especially if you have German ancestry like I do. Oh my God, we love things to be efficient. When I am walking with other white people, like down the street in DC, we do a lot of walking, I will notice that with my white friends, like I don't even have to signal which way we're going. We are going to go the way the crosswalk is most efficiently counting down. And we don't have to say it, we just do it. When I'm with non-white friends, they're like, "Girl, why are we going this way, that way, up and down? Like, what is going into you? Like, chill. It's not a bad thing. One's not better than the other. It's just a culture thing. We got clocks on the inside." Now, where does this get abused? False senses of urgency. We see this all the time in workplaces where everything's an emergency and everything has to be done super efficiently. Also, like quantity over quality, fast, fast, fast. Progress is more. Instead of looking at what is the impact this service or product would have, who is being harmed in this process. Think like sweatshops. Like, yeah, you're being efficient with your money, but you're harming people. Or I saw all the time when I was in DEI consulting, just wanting to quickly do something without thinking about thoughtfully rolling it out. Again, anyone can do this. I'm just pointing out some themes here. Related, we have order and organization. Who are the people you see organizing their fridges right now, fridgescaping on TikTok? Almost always white people, white women usually. Who do you see like damn near singing the Hallelujah chorus in IKEA? Me. I just moved from a 2x2 bedroom condo to a studio apartment. I sent my partner, who's in England right now, a video of how I've organized this space. And he told me that, wow, my baby looks really organized. And it's all I've thought about ever since. And that was like a week ago. We love it. Now, where might we take this too far? Paternalism. This is when you assume you know things for somebody about who's in a different group and you try to make decisions for them. You may be a very skilled organizer, really great project manager, but if you are making decisions about other groups without talking to them, without including them, you're being paternalistic, and that's harmful. White culture, small talk, talking about nothing. I think this is less so in the working class, we're more direct. But if you are ever at a networking event and you're like, "Oh my God, I just need somebody to like help with the social anxiety," like find an old white man and ask him if he's checked the weather forecast. And he will be very happy to tell you all the precipitation and other percentages to break the ice. And he probably knows other people there that he would be delighted to meet and introduce to other people. Now, he could be an asshole and he could have other isms. Anybody can be an asshole. Isms, white men don't have a great rep for that. So always be careful. Where do we run into white supremacy? When we avoid difficult conversations to talk about race and privilege because it makes us uncomfy. When we only talk about things that are frivolous, or when we don't ever consider how we could have been wrong, which is a flaw for everyone, but specifically for white folks considering, gee, why do I have more things than other people do, even if it's not financial? Things like not being followed around the store, not being denied access to loans, less likely to be arrested for similar charges, etc. White culture loving the outdoors, climbing up and down mountains and creeks and rivers that we have no business being in. Love being outside. Where do we run our white supremacy culture? Well, first taking land that doesn't belong to you, but in modern day, looking like gentrifying natural spaces and pricing out local communities so that they don't have access to the natural resources, and where really only the wealthy white people have access to these outside their doors. What did I miss, folks? Extra points if it's also funny.